lot of renewed Maokai presence as well here on 13-5, so expect things like that to come through. OMG Aki goes towards the Wukong, so top esports looking at someone like Wukong, looking at someone like Sejuani, plus probably an AD carry. Zaya's still up and available, didn't get banned away. All of the Premier AD carries up as well.
Yeah, lots on the table still, that Wukong there, but obviously with the Vi band, it does open up some interesting jungle picks. With the Lucian Nami, going to be the standard, and it's going to be something that top esports have fallen back on a lot across the course of this year. Going with that strong bottom lane to try and find prowess. I will say, they lost the 2v2 against Hope and Iwandi while playing that Lucian Nami, so I'm surprised to see the sheer confidence with which they're still just locking that in first.
Yeah, it's a bit of a statement lock-in, right? It feels to me as they're saying, you know, almost goading Abel and Ppgod, who would be the kind of duo to go something like super crazy early. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Probably Zeri Rakan, maybe Zeri Lulu as well. I think both work. I would have liked maybe the Rakan a little bit more just for the team composition, but you go Zeri Lulu, you get to nullify the lane a little bit more. It's a lot easier to navigate in the 2v2, and I think you just have to go down that route. And top esports will eventually go towards this Maokai. Kind of telegraphed, kind of expected, but oftentimes that is the jungle meta for now. And this is kind of where things, I suppose, get a little bit interesting, and top esports may show some of their hand in terms of what they want to do for the solo lanes. You probably ban away some more of Creme's champions unless you are concerned about Shanji's pool with things like the Rumble there, maybe the Ksante as well, just as a clean takeaway to sort of chip at that champion pool. You are going to be blinding one of the roles at the very least in the solo lanes. Maybe you've got something up your sleeve to flex, but OMG paying over that Nara spec towards Wayward.
It's interesting to see such a different bottom lane to the OMG Top Esports series of week number 10 as well, where we had scaling AD carries. It was Aphelios every game for Abel, and it was Jinx and it was Zeri for JackeyLove. This time Top Esports being a bit more aggressive down there. But the Gnar that we talked about for Wayward being banned away, Kennen, Rumble taken off of the board. I feel like we are running out of top lane picks, except for the Ksante, which has been the premier pick for both of these top laners. But the question is, are top esports willing to blind that Ksante? Do they want to go for a counter pick into the Ksante? Because like we said, that Olaf was played in the top lane against WE and it looked pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting options here, right? Because if you're top esports, also giving rookie counter pick just kind of makes a lot of sense, right? To give him the additional advantage, not that he necessarily needs it in most 1v1s. Going towards the Akali though, I guess technically a flex, but I don't suspect that this one's going to end up in Wayward's hands. So now Creme, with the mid lane pool trimmed quite heavily, still has a couple of good options hovered through. I mean, just the Ryze or the Ahri alone, I think both make a lot of sense. Ryze for the lane counter, Ahri to kind of be a little bit of a diving buddy alongside the Wukong, and that will be the choice. Safer lane, earlier priority as well in the 1v1, so we'll see whether or not OMG and Creme and Aki can maybe make use of that, roam towards the bottom side of the map, and free up a little bit of pressure away from that 2v2. As are we just going to get Shanji on Sion? That'll be a little bit sad for game one, but pressing a Sion button and, you know, just having a confirmed strong front line makes a whole bunch of sense for a team composition like what OMG are running, and that'll be the case as now Wayward gets the opportunity to counterpick into that Sion.
Certainly does. We certainly know Wayward's Gwen is a pick he's happy to lean towards, can do well into the Sion. We'll see what he opts into in the end, but I will say, OMG, quite a passive composition comparatively to what you would expect from OMG in that early game, being able to take control of those neutral objectives. Kind of the opposite story is, yeah, the Ksante comes out from Wayward. Not too surprising here. Tank v tank at the top side. But the mid lane, I would say, is probably the most interesting lane in terms of matchup, right? With the Ahri up against that Akali.
Yeah, absolutely is. You know, Ahri, Assassin. Akali, Assassin. Assassin versus Assassin. We're back in Season 3. Smile. But, yeah, should be very, very interesting.
It's a very different Akali to Season 3.
True. Gosh, old Akali, man. That was champion. Not gonna go down that rabbit hole. Either way, yeah, I expect that OMG should have a lot of mid priority here to work with just by nature of the matchup. Akali, very high energy cost, so
it would be the best result they've had in the last 6 years. But for top esports, finishing second in Spring Playoffs 2022, finishing second in Summer Playoffs 2022, and now in their second round of playoffs, already having played a best of 5, top esports once again have to prove their worth here in 2023.
They do. They absolutely do. And, you know, on that point for OMG, it's been so long that I recall when we were casting this series and OMG were on the cusp of winning, I recall even saying, this is going to be like one of their highest finishes ever. Even though OMG had one of the legacy organizations in the LPL.
It feels like
but
it, right?
It
It feels like a different organization to that one of old, the one with Going and Cool, you know, the one that everyone knew back in, what was that 2014?
2014.
I think?
Yeah.
Oh, Shanji.
Oh yeah. Oh, give this to me. This is good though. I mean, here's the thing. You know, you see cheeses like this with Sion all of the time. Where is he? Alcove, Sepush. Okay. Huge. And they're going to try and bait them into a trade potentially. Just step a little bit back.
And we've seen this from Shanji. He started bringing the Sion out towards the end of the split and did this multiple times.
Ooh, okay.
W, I don't think spot him, but he's still going to TP away.
Yeah.
Did hit him, but I think he hit Ppgod too. Either way, he has to TP out.
That's TP
and well played by Top Esports not to go too aggressive there in the level 1.
Yeah. Maybe kind of anticipating some kind of potential cheese, right? It's always a possibility of Sion. We've seen so many adaptable and malleable level 1s involving this champion. Whether it's bringing back the double jungle or, of course, that bottom brush cheese. But Top Esports, not going to fall prey to it.
No, absolutely not. And I want to talk about the picks that we've got coming out here because, as you can see, some of the win-loss records on some of these champions. You see Tian, 6-0 on that Maokai. On the previous screen, though, we saw Creme as well, 4-0 on the Ahri. He's got a 13 KDA on that pick. Like, Creme, we know the guy for controlling the early game, and if there's one thing Ahri offers, it's control. It's being able to skirmish over those neutral objectives, and that is OMG's bread and butter.
Yeah, and it's also just picking fights on her terms, right? Like, especially once level 6 comes online, if Ahri wants to start a fight, she's going to dash in. If she wants to disengage a fight, she'll dash backwards. That's kind of it. And I feel like with that in mind as well, OMG's composition really does quite well at, you know, going in both directions, right? Being able to either go forward between the Wukong, between the Ahri, even though it's not necessarily the hard engage of a Rakan or Nautilus, I think still being able to play space and kind of just play around with your CC and mobility is a tool that a team like OMG and the players on the roster would utilize very heavily. So Esports going to have to manage that quite well. A lot of short-ranged champions on their side, pretty much across the board actually. So OMG going to have that to their advantage.
You can see there the win record between Zeri and Lucian here in the LPL. Zeri winning it pretty handily. The fact that those numbers are so high, it's just so depressing though. The amount of Zeri Lulu we've seen across the course of the year against this Lucian army.
Yeah.
But we'll see, because I think if there's any team in the league that is willing to play aggressive enough for the Lucian army to work, like, you have to spike in mid-game and you have to use that spike. You cannot be passive. Top Esports certainly not passive, but neither Zaki, apparently. I think he was spotted as he went over the wall. There is a ward in the river, so fortunately he won't be able to get his dive off for now. At a very quiet early game, and I feel I've sold everyone a lie here, Jamada, because I came into this saying, you know, it's going to be an early game bagger, it's going to be fighting from the window.
Look. We're 4 minutes in. Give it another 4 minutes, right?
Okay.
And then there'll be about 6 kills. Because someone's going to die at the dragon, and then there's definitely going to be a skirmish at the Herald. Or it'll be a 2v2. Either or.
A 2v2 in the bottom lane, yeah. Ignite comes out, it's answered with a heal. But doesn't actually do anything in the meantime. Great job coming out from Creme. It will keep him alive, but Rookie, an attempted all in there, does manage to force Creme out of lane.
Yeah, and you can really sort of see the pressure mount there, and once level 6 comes online, Rookie on this Akali. He already had a couple of montage plays this year on the pick.
All I needed to do, Jamada, was complain that there wasn't enough action, and apparently that was enough to set all 3 lanes off.
Curse. Yeah, you know, these guys up here, I mean, Wayward does have a pot, just no biscuits, so they're both doomed. But Shanji doesn't have teleport, right? So that's kind of why he's so steadfast in potentially just not basing. He will just give up the wave. No, he's not going to give up the wave. He's going to do the top lane thing and just stick around. Wayward, he has not got enough mana to cast R, so he's kind of just here. He'll get a play. Okay. Demolish is great. But that's it.
And honestly, you'll take that, right? You'll absolutely take that. An XP advantage, you're just crashing these waves. Shanji has no threat on you. And in the meantime, OMG going to decide it's their time to go for this strike off the back of the reset. JackeyLove and Mark will get themselves their first neutral objective.
You know what? Maybe I sold you the lie because I mean 600 on Smite. Flash?
I think he's a little bit too late. Maybe he can force the summoner out though. Aki's stuck in the pit for the time being. Bramble Smash is there. But manages to jump out with his little warrior monkey.
Warrior monkey.
And we return to the status quo, Jamada. So let's talk compositions. Let's talk big picture here for this game. Because, you know, I'm kind of in blood for the blood god mode. But realistically, just fighting all the time is not necessarily the right thing to do. When should we be expecting, like, smart fights from either team?
Level 6s, really, really soon. I think, for me, OMG definitely spike a little bit there. However, I kind of await with bated breath on what Aki's going to do on this play. He's getting collapsed on, though. He needs to be careful. Tian can flash over the wall.
Could be in trouble here. Big damage out from JackeyLove. In comes Tian, and there's first blood. Aki, he thought he was the one that could disappear himself, but it's top esports that make him disappear this time.
Yeah, there's a magician here, and I promise you, it's not Aki, even though he disappears here. As almost like they also got traded in the mid lane. Ricky will go back in. Tian.
Oh no, Creme forced to flash here. Tian doesn't even follow him. Just used the ultimate as well. Disaster for Creme.
Yeah, it feels a little bit bad. And there could potentially be a small window now where Creme could get engaged upon. We'll see whether or not Top Esports will take that window or not. But Rookie using the ultimate pretty much as soon as he gets it, by the looks of things in that 1v1. I feel like Ahri ultimate, well, it's kind of hard to gauge. I feel like Rookie's ultimate is definitely very high value. It really allows Akali to basically just skirmish on command. But for now, just going for trade, Top Esports. Looking like they were eyeing up, diving the top side. You can see Shanji burned a lot of his mana. But still quite healthy. And Tian's just going to be a nuisance here. And just push away Aki, because he's got this level 6 advantage. And he's going to have to back away.
That's not a fight that Aki can go for, especially with Wayward behind the enemy top lane tower here. Knows that he has the jungle presence, and there's nothing Shanji can do about it. So just proxy farming for the time being as Tian steals away this blue buff. And you can see Aki, in the meantime, has to catch the wave in the mid lane. So Top Esports, full information on what's going on for OMG. And currently, a 1,000 gold lead, despite the fact that really there's not been that much action. Just lane advantages here.
Yeah, it's really strange as well. When we talk about Top Esports, their early games are still, like, fine. You know, like, they're not oppressively ahead all of the time. But they'll find themselves with, like, you know, very nominal leads, very small leads. And it feels like we're seeing that here right now. Now, what we are seeing also is a Herald attempt by Aki. Does have first move from the top side, but also Tian's got a Rookie behind him. So it looks like we're just going to get a reset. And we could just back away, though Shanji will walk away. It's fine. It's fine. Nothing bad's going to happen much.
And just to mention the leads point that you were bringing up there. Top Esports, their average gold difference of 15, over 1,000 gold at 1,166. That's second best in the league. But also, their win rate when they're ahead at 15 minutes is 85%. They barely ever lose if they won that early game. So it feels like for OMG, the first 15 minutes are absolutely crucial in trying to defeat this team. That Spirit Rush used by Creme off of literally just a Q from Rookie, as well as Tian, like wandering near the lane.
Yeah, I think Creme just paying their respect and not even risking potentially getting locked down by the Twisted Advance. Have to respect it. And with that ultimate now down, you expect Top Esports will go towards that Rift Herald with the ultimate mid lane advantage. As a little bit of poke tried to come in there from JackeyLove, doesn't really find anything. This Herald should be a pretty clean take from Top Esports, and when I look at the map here for OMG, doesn't really feel like there can be much of a response. Maybe you can take some bottom side jungle camps at absolute best, but it's really going to feel like a bit of a consolation prize here, as even JackeyLove and Mark can kind of just come over and maybe just guard the entrance. Maybe not overcommit to a play in the defense, but slow down OMG. So Top Esports, kind of just clean win all around.
Yeah, fantastic early game so far from Top Esports, and not brute forcing fights just for the sake of brute forcing fights, knowing that they can build small advantages over time. And this really has been the way that Top Esports won a lot of the games that they did win across the course of the year, and often against lower tier teams. I do just want to quickly mention, while we have a moment of quiet here, Jamada, that something we didn't mention, or something we failed to mention, I would say, when we were first talking about these two teams and the matchup that we're in, and that's that we've got two ex-teammates up against each other here in Ppgod and Rookie. When you think back to last year, when you think back to that B5 squad that finished first in spring, third in spring playoffs, then third in summer, kind of faltered towards the end of the year, right? 5th, 6th in playoffs, didn't make it to the double elim, and then 4th place in the regional finals, losing out to LNG in the end. But generally speaking, a phenomenal year, especially for V5. Now the two players up against each other, both on new organizations that they've never played with before.
Exactly. And in effectively the highest stakes. To a point, as Aki not going to get the steal. He's actually trapped in there. So he should probably have to flash out. He does off screen. As Olmos again traded in the mid lane. And it's Inferno. I think very, very fitting for our first game.
Yeah, I feel like Rookie and Creme here are just testing each other. They're basically saying, look, I'm going to use my ultimate, and if you don't respond appropriately, I'm going to kill you. And trading back in kind, both of them knowing the matchup well enough to be able to play out those situations. Yeah,
it's good fun too, right? I feel like Creme is silently one of our, well, not even silently to be honest with you, one of our more fun mid laners to watch in the league because of his champion pool. And Rookie, I think undeniably, one of our best laners in the entire LPL, not even of the mid lane pool. And like you say, just kind of keeping each other at arm's length almost a lot of the time. Yep. Just getting a feel for how each other want to play out the lane. I think after this is like the download game, you know, like in fighting games when you're playing against each other for the first like couple of matches, you're just getting downloads off the opponent. You're like, all right, this is how they do this. This is how they. Oh, they always dodge up. Okay. Yeah. It feels like that's what's going on in the mid lane. Next game will be the bloody game. Don't worry much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's Wayward trying to get more pressure on this top side. He got that first plate a long time ago, and it doesn't feel like he's quite able to finish the job of the second one. I do just want to quickly call out JackeyLove finishing the Gale Force down in the bottom side. Big, big spike for him, but also Righteous Glory in the jungle. So Tian and JackeyLove both hitting their mythics, and they are using that spike immediately in this bottom side.
Yeah, no faffing around. Just straight to the bottom side, drop a couple of plates off this tower. Not sure OMG can really aggressively trade back here, as Tian, Olma, just a bit of extra
there, the waves there, yeah, they're not actually going to commit to the play in the end. So OMG will be able to hold on. I think Aki showing up was enough for Top Esports to decide they don't want to dive this one. I feel like it would have been a tough dive to pull off against a Lulu, perhaps, but either way, Top Esports going to get their plates. They're going to be able to get a reset off the back of it as well. And they'll be happy. It's a net positive regardless.
Yeah, absolutely is. Any pressure you can kind of put down for your Nami Lucian and the gold as well, right? I think getting marked towards that Imperial mandate, very, very important as he actually bases for it just now.
Yep.
So now the spike is there, right? JackeyLove also just immediately rushing towards the rapid fire cannon. Just not even going towards that, just says, I want that second item ASAP. So this is kind of now, this is where Top Esports' PowerPoint is, because Rookie should be basing for the Rocket Belt. That should be finished up. And now I expect Top Esports to effectively take every single skirmish that they see in front of them. They've got all mythics and all of their champions spike heavily at this point. Now we need to see the clinical version of them. And for OMG, the responses, the turtle is going to have to be very, very potent. And they're going to have to try and prey on whatever misstep potentially the Top Esports do make, because they have been very, very liable to make them recently.
They certainly have. I want to quickly mention as well that this matchup is a little bit personal for one of our players on the rip today. We've gone all in on every single lane simultaneously, so I'm going to shut up as the colour comes out from JackeyLove.
No time for story, Munch. That's how it goes.
I mentioned the rookies right at the very start when OMG was stepping out onto the stage. I mentioned the fact that Aki had his opportunity in LPL. People got so close. JackeyLove desperate to make this double mythic spike stick, but can't quite find the kill. Tian's down on the bottom side as well as Wayward goes for an all-in the top side. Shanji, the target, is going to use ultimate, but denied by the dash. The knockback is there. Does Wayward have the damage to cut through this Sion? Shanji seems invincible, but knockback once more, forced to flash. Wayward finds his pressure, but cannot find the kill. Tower down in the bottom side.
Tower down at the bottom side. Wayward, it's like it's an old oak to an axe, right? And it's kind of a blunt one. As Shanji just stands there menacingly, tanks up a lot of the damage. Probably TP for this wave. But key thing here is Top Esports finally forced the mark. We said, right, we need to see the aggressive plays immediately come out, and they need to be clinical. They get the bottom side tower, and that's going to feel good just to advance the game a little bit. JackeyLove has to be so close to that rapid fire cannon just based on his components. Third dragon on the map, Herald as well, spawns 10 seconds before it, so it seems like Top Esports just going to go to the Herald first and then immediately try and wrap back down towards this bottom side and contest both objectives.
Yeah, JackeyLove basically just trying to spike as fast as he can, try and be as powerful as possible in this early game. 2,000 gold lead for Top Esports as they fight for mid prio, looking for this Herald. Shanji trying to move in as well. JackeyLove and Mark clear the wave and move up to the rest of the team. That means Shanji has to be a little bit careful here. As Rookie and Wayward start to get some damage down onto this side. He ain't that tanky just yet. Will be knocked up and surely taken down. No, the shield at the last second finally falls. Ahri flashes in with a knockup for the wave, denies the follow-up from the rest of the team. Calling out now, and Top Esports flip it onto its head. Rookie with a double already, and he makes it 3 for the hat trick. Triple kill for Rookie as Top Esports explode onto the map.
A bit of Haaland action there for Rookie. Really easy triple kill for him to pick up. Like you say, the hat trick of kills, Top Esports, they don't even go for the Herald. Now that they've got the fight, they just go towards the Dragon. Longer term objective. Mark eats a charm. It's going to be fine though. And it's just a really awkward fight for OMG to take in general, right? I think once Shanji gets called out, I think you just cut your losses there. But Aki just kind of makes the call. It almost seems by himself, but eventually the rest of OMG do show up for it. But the overcommit means that they lose more members, and I feel like they have to in this kind of situation. And Top Esports just happily rub their hands together as the play goes down.
Yeah, and a huge pickup of not only that dragon, but also the tower on the top side, which would make the Herald follow-up that much easier. Shanji, I think, just being a little too bold, thinking he was tankier than he really was.
Yeah, you're not late game Sion yet, and also I think this tidal wave here from Mark, it helps so much because it's just directly into the choke. You know, it stops zombie Sion from maybe putting down some DPS. Creme can't go forward. And then even the bubble as well to force the cleanse. Beg your pardon, onto Abel. Really, really good stuff. And this is the kind of execution, game face, execution we need to see from Top Esports, just because I feel like their skirmishing and team fighting has been, simultaneously their worst and best. It's just so polarizing, right? They either team fight like complete gods, just peak League of Legends gameplay, or they kind of grief, right? And I feel like there's no in between with Top Esports. But this is one of those moments where I feel like they were really measured. And at the very least, didn't overstay their welcome and just kind of allowed OMG to walk into them.
And it does feel like OMG did outright walk into them, especially Shanji.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to try again. I don't think we're going to see a fight right now.
Story time. Yeah.
Aki, back in 2019, played on Top Esports. He was on the bench. Got 6 games of LPL. 2-1 in series, if anyone cares about his results in 2019. But Top Esports deciding they preferred XX as a jungler, deciding not to play Aki. OMG, this organization that now building a reputation of trusting in rookies. And I feel like it's almost the opposite story for Top Esports. Not quite. Obviously, Wayward came in as a rookie and they certainly played through him, but Top Esports very much going for name value in the majority of their roster. It does feel like we've kind of got a dichotomy of teams, but also personal vengeance available for Aki.
Yeah, definitely is. I'll always say it's one of those things where, as a competitor, it always feels nice to just, take down the team you used to play for. There's just that level of, I moved on and I beat you. That's
Who won the divorce?
I won the divorce. So yeah, we'll see whether or not Aki can get that down. I like that as well, like you said, from OMG. I feel like generally in the LPL, you always have a fairly healthy amount of rookies coming through, especially from the LDL system. And it just proves it works, right? And OMG making their name, like you say, with so many young players coming up through the system. And it's definitely doing them a world of good. As already, they're just, like you said, I think their best finish already over the last half a decade.
Yeah, the best finish since 2017, which is a long old time ago. It doesn't sound like it's that long ago, but that's 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for OMG,
I was still in school.
It's not looking super great. All right, don't make me feel too old, man. Come on now. I don't even know what I was doing in 2017. No, I was already working in esports in 2017. Yeah. But regardless of how great this split has been for OMG up to this point, right now it's top esports looking good with a 3,000 gold lead. Herald getting the second charge in the mid lane. They've got 2 Drakes already with the next one coming up in 90 seconds. And it feels like their composition is well and truly online. Like getting their second level in ultimates pretty much across the board here. You've got your mythics across the team as well, with JackeyLove almost hitting 3 items already. Like, that is insane.
Yeah, you have to remember, just between like first strike and also the amount of plates he got, plus rapid fire cannon just being a very cheap item, just allows him access to potentially hit 3 items super quick. At the very least, Abel, I assume, should be going back to base for his second item probably now, if he's basing. And it will be on time for this next Dragon fight. I just wonder how strong OMG feel, right? Because I think a lead like this can almost feel a lot bigger than it is. And I wonder if in their minds, they just kind of assume, all right, you know what? We can probably take the fight after this, but this fight might be a bit too detrimental. Because I will say, I feel like now that top esports kind of have control of the map, if they walk into top esports, I feel like going past saplings, going through chokes, it's just going to feel really difficult. They already tried that Herald fight not too long ago. And I don't think they necessarily want a repeat of that, especially at this time where Baron is a real reality if you do make a huge misstep.
And that's one of the big things that Maokai is bringing to the table is the saplings, A, for vision control, but B, that slow lands, the ult comes out, the Nami tidal wave comes out as well. Shanji the target for now as the tidal wave hits almost everyone, but Shanji left alone by his team. They're calling out on Creme, but JackeyLove knocked up. John should be taken down. Creme steps up to take the kill, assassinating the AD carry. Abel goes down as Wayward on the backside of the fight, flashes over to find more, and Wayward steps up to the mark as Rookie finishes another. Top esports somehow winning out the fight.
Yeah, the fight happens in the mid lane, and we were just talking about how maybe OMG consider not taking a fight right now because it could be a little too hard to overcome the strength of top esports. They go for it anyway, they find JackeyLove, but Wayward is isolated with Abel on the back line, and Abel cannot go anywhere, he can't move. Only for Wayward to then finish him off, flash over, and find that massive knockup, and just rejoin the rest of esports, who were already winning the turnaround fight off the back of it. We'll get the replay. The ultimate comes in from Tian. It just forces OMG into a defensive stance, and immediately as well, the tidal wave hits so many members. The response then becomes delayed. Shanji gets chunked out. It feels a little bit bad, but then this turnaround between Aki, between Creme, so powerful. But as you can see here, Abel just isolated, can't do anything, isn't adding to the front line damage and space being provided, and they then just have to retreat because all of top esports still very much powerful, especially Rookie at this stage, to make the turnaround happen. Really good stuff on an individual level. Wayward touched her up to this time. I'll pass him at the end, but it still feels good.
I love that Aki is walking away from that fight. He was literally in between 5 members of top esports the entire time, and he walks away full HP. Everyone just completely ignored him. He got the knock up onto JackeyLove at the start. He started that pick off that Creme was able to finish off, but then just completely ignored as the rest of the team focusing on bigger prizes. Still having a bit of a gold lead, but slightly less now, 2,000 for top esports. But it's Rookie that we've got to be looking at because he's got 9 stacks on a Dark Seal at this stage. And if you weren't scared of Rookie already, a 4-0-1 Akali Rookie with 2 items and a 9-stack Dark Seal, that is the stuff of nightmares for OMG.
I've seen Rookie on this champion with no kills. Looks scarier than he does right now, and that's worrying as well. So I think for OMG, especially because I mean, they're only really working with the polymorph to shut down Rookie, and that's the worrisome thing. They're gonna have to try and chain their CC, and they're gonna have to do it very efficiently. Otherwise, he's just gonna have free reign in every single team fight. And again, especially with this Lucian pick now hitting 3 items, gaining mid lane priority, super hard. It's always OMG that have to check into fog, into saplings, maybe into a tidal wave. And the turnaround burst is always so potent and always such a big threat. And top esports just kind of have the freedom to do what they want now, right? They've got 3 minutes until the Infernal Soul spawns up. Do they have to wait until then? No, but honestly, they've been so disciplined, which is, I feel like, a word that has just been like the complete opposite of how you could describe top esports this year, that they might just do that.
It's kind of funny, isn't it? Because I feel like the very start of the year, we did see that from top esports. And I remember saying on cast, like, this is the Rookie bringing some of this to the team, like Rookie replacing Knight on this roster, and it felt like maybe he was more objective focused. I don't know why I had that thought, because Rookie was the heart of IG, for God's sake. Like, that is not a team that doesn't like shenanigans. But it felt like top esports weren't flipping Baron in the same way that they had been in previous years, etc. But then halfway through the split, or not even halfway, honestly, felt like top esports just started throwing things at the wall. And flipping Baron has always been a bit of a bane of top esports. We'll see if they're still willing to do that. They're headed towards it now.
I think what you're trying to say, Munch, is they had some happy games, and we'll see if this is going to be a happy moment or not for top esports. OMG definitely very apprehensive about the approach, because again, as toggled by the observers there, it's just pitch black. Walking into an Akali, walking into so many things. They've got it.
Get here in time. Baron taken, they still have the gold advantage. It's Shanji trying to attack up at the top side. Culling comes out just to melt some health bars. Shanji is so tanky, but pulled back into the team here. And now the rest of the team jumping in. Aki trying to get some damage out as Wayward, causing a ruckus in amongst the team. Abel pulled back away from the rest of the squad. And here comes the rest of top esports. Rookie on the back line, looking for Creme next as he shreds the health bars. And JackeyLove on a double in the meantime. Shanji can do nothing. Top esports, Baron in a fight.
Baron and a fight, it's just such a good take. And again, the map pressure is just too much for OMG to handle. No one can really face check besides Shanji, and I mean, he's just getting pinballed into the middle of all 5 top esports members, and OMG can't really respond in time to try and just find AoE CC anything on their side of things. See, the ultimate comes in from Sion because he just has to face check eventually, but look at where everyone is. Whilst this Baron's going down, they've got complete vision as well because of the ward in the middle of the lane. Ultimate comes in. So now Shanji's committed. And not only that, he just gets, I think, knocked back by Ksante, then also a W, then also just ruined bubbles. It's just everything, right? And you can see here all of OMG zoned away because they're too afraid to walk forward in fear of getting tidal wave through the choke, and it happens anyway. Wayward brings Abel away and that's the front line. Could have maybe found something again between Shanji, Creme, and of course, Aki just shredded by Rookie in the back end of it, as Wayward just separates that little bit of extra DPS, which could maybe get OMG across the line. Great team fighting from top esports right now.
I think we're kind of seeing why you pick Ksante over Sion for Wayward here. And that's Rookie, 3,000 kills in the LPL. God. Incredible stuff. #1 in the entire league. 3,000. That is something special right there, Rookie. And it had to get 6 kills this game to make it. And boy, has he. Still 10 stacks of the Dark Seal, 3 items now as well. Aki's clone taking a bit of damage. This is soul for top esports if they can get the Drake. But in the meantime, Rookie has Baron buff and is just going to take towers.
Yep. And don't forget, with that much AP, he's actually shredding towers. He's looking for the teleport now. And he will find it. It's behind everyone as well. It's a deep flank.
It's deep. It's deep. And Creme has already used his ultimate. Shanji trying to tank for the team as Rookie comes in from the side. Diving into the fray, but won't actually find anyone for the time being. Aki on the back line. Does he have the damage to finish JackeyLove? No. And now Ppgod Abel in trouble. Abel trying to do damage, but JackeyLove plays it safe. Keeps himself away. And top esports. My goodness, this is immaculate, Jamada.
Where has this version of top esports been all year long, Munch? It's been almost 2.5 months since we've seen top esports play with this much discipline, to be entirely frank with you, but I'm happy to see it.
Jamada, has every game of the split been a happy game? Is this all been a ruse all year long?
It feels like it. It really does. That's Soul going over to top esports. They'll get the inhib as well. And I mean, it's almost amusing because of how night and day it is. Which is why if you hear the almost delirious tone to me and Munch, that's why. It's because we know they're capable of doing games like this. They just haven't shown it to us.
Feels like it's 2022 again. I feel like I'm the young, tender age of just 30 with the way the top esports are playing right here. 8-0-3 on Rookie as he picks up needlessly large rod. And OMG, it feels like just out of sorts in this one.
Yeah, out of sorts, but I also just feel like top esports generally just positioning really well together for the most part. JackeyLove almost gets 1v1 here by Aki, but again, no follow-up damage. Like you say, out of sorts on the side of OMG. If Creme is somehow there, then maybe the fight looks a bit different, but he's just not. And top esports just kind of keep, for the most part, a tight formation and man-mark each other, which is, honestly, has been one of my biggest critiques of top esports, has generally been their team fighting and their ability to either identify winning team fights or just like conditions inside of them, right? Drawing battle lines inside of your head. Okay, we can't let the enemy team go across this choke or whatever it may be, but this game it's been straight up to the point.
Even stuff like that, right? We're just watching the clear vision. Tian goes in first. There's a control ward. So Mark and JackeyLove hide behind the wall, making sure they're not seen, just in case someone tries to contest the ward and they can find themselves a pick. Creme almost gets one shot by JackeyLove. He's got damage now as Shanji can't even stand up to him. 4 items and a stopwatch. JackeyLove is well and truly online.
Yes, he is. And honestly, if he doesn't get hit by a charm, I think he just one-shots everyone. He has to, like, Creme has to find this crucial bit of CC here. And there is no Mikhails, there is a stopwatch, but if you can get him charmed up, CC'd, maybe it's enough, but I mean, top esports just forcing through here.
Yeah, threatening the tower. Rookie jumped on by Aki, but I don't think that's a fight you can win, Aki. He goes down, and now top esports pretty much tying a bow on things as Abel trying to stack up. Where did his health go? JackeyLove dives in, just taps him once, and Abel almost dies. That was something else. Wayward still sitting up on the front line here. Mid inhib down, top inhib open. The top esports will move back over to that top side. They really want to finish the second inhib before they retreat.
Yeah, they really do. I don't think it's much an overstep either. A couple of members have to go back to the platform, regain the HP. Guys.
Oh, no.
Guys. All right. It's fine. They've got it. They've got it. Don't worry. Disaster averted. They will grab that, and the Baron spawns in 5 seconds time, and with Aki spawning in 5 seconds also, they might just go and do it on spawn, or they're going to do the sensible thing and recall. However, Rookie's really messing with his tempo here. Yeah, that's to just back away from that. Does have teleport, so he will just likely look for that if he's got gold to spend, and then make his way up towards the top side. Doesn't seem like that'll be the case, though.
No, looks like he's just going to stay out on the map. Can't afford an item. Like, he has no item slots. So, unless he can afford a tier 3 item, there's not much point. Oh, well, he has got
well,
2,500 gold. So he probably
that's
can
gold
afford.
for decap. I think he sold his 10-stack Dark Seal to get decap. Okay, I mean, sure. That works. I think you take... how much is full Dark Seal? I think it's 55 AP, something like that.
I mean, he got himself a control ward as well.
Yeah,
and clearly not interested in going for the Medjais, right? If he was going to go for the Medjais, would have done it a long time ago. Playing much more disciplined than, honestly, anyone would have expected today. Sorry, go on. You were going to talk about builds.
To be fair, this is probably more AP in total because of where we are in the game. So, goodbye. And like you say, yeah, going back to your point, I think I'm just really surprised to see top esports be this disciplined because, I mean, we definitely didn't see that in their WE series either. Which is why I was generally very concerned for them in coming into today's series. Of course, this is only game 1, and we're in a best of 5, so it's not like the series is over, wrap it up, go home, top esports are going to the next round. This is definitely a bit of a statement game to open up the series with. 35 minutes in, they're taking their time. You know, they're not over-rushing things.
They're cruising.
And they're just doing it by the books.
And you do have to wonder if there is a point at which, you know, Abel can come online and win some crazy team fight. But the thing is, even if you entertain that conversation of scaling, it's like 3.5 items isn't enough to come back from this just sheer death wall the top esports are bringing to the fights, forcing Shanji out. He's 3.5 items as a tank, and he's still not tanky enough.
Yeah, no, he doesn't really feel like a tank, does he? He just feels like a health bar.
Oh my god. Creme forced to flash here. The root's coming on through as Shanji rejoins the fray, but this will be third inhib down. Top esports slow and steady by the book here. 3 inhibs taken. Baron being used to siege the Nexus. Not overforcing, not just going for a fight for the sake of it, but looking for clean wins. It feels like top esports have finally realized they've got to book up their ideas for playoffs. And it's looking good in game number 1 here against OMG. Last ditch attempt. as OMG will try and defend their Nexus. Shanji, the target, knocked up and will be taken out here. The Nexus tower next on the chopping block. Abel just about surviving the attempt from Rookie, and Rookie goes down. That would have been his Dark Seal stacks, but he sold it already. Top Esports dominate game number 1 against OMG.
He looked into the crystal ball and saw that he would lose his perfect KDA. Goes for the decap, but what a great game from Top Esports to open out this series with all of the context added for how we got here for Top Esports, right? Yeah. Not necessarily being what most people would have expected, just being in round 4, or at the very worst case, round 3. Starting it off all the way from round 1 here in round 2, and just surgically dismantling OMG. It didn't really feel like OMG had any foothold at all, right? You know, the strengths were maybe at best mid-jungle 2v2, scale up off the back of potentially having some strong skirmishes there, and then just utilizing Zeri, Lulu, good engages between the mid-jungle and finding key picks like that. But Top Esports shut that down from minute 1, right? I think Rookie constantly burning and trading ults with Creme as well, kind of shutting down the potential of that skirmishing, really went the distance, and eventually it just culminated in Heralds being picked up, going down towards the bottom side, and it put JackeyLove into a position where he was so far ahead that Top Esports just utilized that pressure until it became too overbearing for OMG to deal with.
And I think we've got to go back to the draft, right, when we're talking about this series and OMG really not having many proactive tools in the early game. Like, we talked about Creme's Ahri, we talked about the 100% win rate, we talked about the insane KDA. I mean, Creme basically didn't leave the mid lane. And obviously that is not just an exclusively Creme decision. That's the whole team of OMG deciding that wasn't how they wanted to play this one. But I think we've got to see them trying to contest these early Drakes, trying to fight for the Heralds, trying to exist a bit more in the early game. Because if you let Top Esports have a lead, this is what happens.
Yeah, and you know, to me, I think OMG looked the best when they have agency options. I feel like you can say that about a lot of LPL teams. But I feel like it rings so true for this team when you've got somebody like Creme, Abel and Ppgod as a duo, even when it was Abel and Cold, right, last year, always looking for the 2v2s. I feel like we need to see more of that, right, from them here. Otherwise, at the very least, given by how we just saw Top Esports navigate this game, if you don't look for those kind of proactivity options, this could just be a very quick wash. This could be a very quick series tonight. So OMG definitely need to recollect themselves a little bit. I don't necessarily think the draft inherently was bad, but I think contextually into Top Esports, who you want to try and find some proactive leads, shake a little bit in the early game so they don't feel confident. This is maybe not the angle to go at it with. As JackeyLove damage to corpse ratio 238% as well, 42k. I think we know who will be getting MVP in game number 1.
Yeah, and the fact that you went for this Sion on the side of OMG, Shanji not managing to make the cheese work at level 1, like tried to get in the bottom lane but spotted out by JackeyLove, and then the fact that he doesn't really have any significant impact beyond that in the top side. Maybe they need to rethink things and perhaps get Shanji on a carry. I'd love to see that Wayward versus Shanji carrying each